back to Data Center News Asia. James, how is KL? How was the big event?
Morning, Rhys. Yeah, up here in KL, as you mentioned, up here for the big NEXTDC announcement, which I'm sure a lot of people have already read and seen about, which took place yesterday. KL's good. Good night out last night as well. So yeah, going well.
There we go. A gentleman, a friend won't ask, and a gentleman won't tell any stories from that. But we've got a few other stories to cover this week beyond that. So, as you mentioned, NextDC, big investment in Malaysia. Empyrion Data Centers have some updates on their data center in Seoul, and they were kind enough to drop us the press release yesterday. So we've been good over that. Digital Edge breaking ground. Webworks and Iron Mountain have, I think this is some updates to their joint venture. There's a new CEO at Keppel DC REIT, and there's a new global CRO at Digital Realty. So plenty to talk about. Probably some, maybe a little bit of Singapore government news as well at the end.
Yeah, well, everyone, bear with Rhys today. He's doing this without his notes for some reason. He's just using the names as prompts. So, yeah, where do you want to start, Rhys?
Yeah,
Next DC?
let's go to next DC since that's the official reason for your away trip. So this was a big launch event. I understand that they had up in Kuala Lumpur yesterday, right?
Yeah, so this is a big event with basically to announce the launch of their KL1 facility. So this was very big do up here. A lot of government representation from the Malaysian side, but also a couple of the member of parliament up from Australia and several other dignitaries. So very big event. Actually, I wasn't expecting it to be quite so big, but they've got big plans for this facility. It's going to be in Petaling Jaya, which is to the west of the city, I suppose. It's not in Cyberjaya, or it's not in central KL, but it's kind of in the middle of the Klang Valley. So this is a facility which is scalable up to 65 megawatts. So it's in 5 phases, I think it is. Tier 4 certified, so uptime was represented at the event as well yesterday, and this was going to be certainly the largest Tier 4 facility in this part of the world. The other big numbers attached was 3 billion ringgit to be invested over the term of this project, or so in the next 5-10 years. So obviously pretty significant there. And obviously their first foray outside of Australia.
So it's 3 billion ringgit. Unfortunately, I've made the mistake, as usual, with NextDC stories of opening an Australian press source. So I've got Aussie dollars, not real dollars. But I think 3 billion ringgit should be in the sort of 700 US range. So a pretty substantial investment. Alex, who's the head of international or ex Australia at NextDC, mentioned that this investment is off the back of direct feedback from the cloud customers that they work with and their belief in Malaysia's continued boom. So good to see several government officials there. Then obviously the Malaysian side of things putting their voice behind it.
So congrats to the whole NextDC team. The event was a great event. Vision looks kind of fitting in what's happening in Malaysia. So wish them all the best.
Excellent. Now, this is the next one is into Korea, and this is an update from Empyrion. Now, we've talked about this data center a couple of times. This is the Gangnam Data Center, which is, for those who are not so familiar with the Seoul market, it's a nice region. It's a nice area of Seoul. There's lots of bars and restaurants and things, but it's a newer area for data center development. So this is the first big. And it's quite a central area compared to others that we're talking about, like Incheon towards the south. This is quite a central area for such a large facility. And they've Empyrean sent us some pictures of their groundbreaking ceremony, which I'll have up on the screen. It looks very nice. They had the Singapore ambassador there. They also had some senior members of the Korean government, along with Mark, the CEO.
Yeah, so this is their second facility. The first one being the Doded, or the ex-Doded facility they acquired about 18 months ago now. As you mentioned, it's it's in pretty central Seoul. It sits within a couple of the cloud regions, so it's obvious that that's going to be the kind of client base they're going after. Exciting times for Empyrion. I think the IT load, I'm not sure, I need to double check this, the IT load or the feed, 40 megawatts, so it's going to be a significant facility either way. And yeah, I think this is probably just the first of many projects for the Empyrion team we're going to be seeing over the next little while.
Absolutely. I mean, they've got Taipei and Tokyo on their website, so we'll assume to get some updates from there. They've made great pains to stress the sustainability of this facility. We haven't seen official PUE numbers or anything coming out yet, but they are including solar panels into the facade. They're looking at, I think liquid cooling ready as well was something they mentioned. So interesting to see how that comes out for such a large facility in a downtown location. Those are always kind of hard to get some of the same standards as the big campus developments. Sticking with downtown facilities, one of my favorite segues. That Digital Edge has broken ground on on another facility in Tokyo. This is TY07. I'm not sure. They have 6 facilities in Tokyo already. That seems much higher than I thought. But yes, they've broken ground on this one yesterday.
Yeah, so this was we initially mentioned this, I don't know, 18 months ago, when it was still the developer attached to the DC Hulic. Then again we reported on this in March-ish time, I would say, about 3 or so months ago, when Digital Edge became attached as the operating partner. Very central location, very close to I think it's TYO2 if I'm not mistaken, in downtown Tokyo. Relatively small site, so I think it's going to be a retail focused site, but like I said, it is prime Tokyo location, so it's I'm sure people will be snapping off their hand to get capacity there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is the Hulic data center. So do remember reporting on that one. And so this brings Digital Edge up now. Actually, I must have missed the count because they are up to 17 data centers across 6 countries now. So really rapid growth from them, as you say, a lot more sort of smaller retail facilities than some companies, but really getting their footprint in South Korea, Japan, the Philippines, India, Thailand, and Indonesia. I'm not sure what the status is on the Thailand one. I think that's quite new. Or did we do the opening on that quite recently?
Thailand is a pipeline project. I don't think they've announced anything.
Oh, well, that's listed on their press release, so we'll have to dig into that one. I'm sure we'll get news on that one soon. And the other one, so we've got one story in India here. This is from WebWorks and Iron Mountain. And this is a new site. So they've just had their first facility going open a few weeks ago, I think. And this is the next one that they're investing $170 million in Navi Mumbai, and it's called Mumbai 3.
Yes, so this is the first. I want to get my language correct here. This is the first greenfield site that they've done together since Iron Mountain obviously invested into WebWorks. So this is I think the largest facility as well, 32 megawatts. So probably more of a hyperscale play, I would imagine, given that kind of scale. As you mentioned, it's in Navi Mumbai. It's pretty close to the other 2 facilities which they have there, which are kind of a mix of WebWorks assets / Iron Mountain ones. 170 million US. I didn't even bother writing down the crore amount because it always confuses me. This is also coming online in 2025, which I believe the Empyrion, NEXTDC, and Digital Edge, if I'm not mistaken, are all slated for 2025 open dates. So this brings the facility, WebWorks, Iron Mountain, to 7 facilities across most or a lot of the major metros in India now.
Yeah, so I was very considerate of people to give us this pipeline of news into the into the future. But yeah, so I think the first facility they had was a kind of a carrier hotel. The second one was a 6 megawatt capacity. So as you say, this 32 megawatt will be a huge increase in capacity for them on this campus in Navi Mumbai. And we've also got a senior appointment from Keppel DC REIT. Now, this comes off the back of Anthea Meng-Hoon announcing that she was heading to Fraser's Logistics and Commercial Trust. Not sure exactly what role she is taking there, but assuming it's going to be a pretty senior position. And so Lo Hui Long is taking over the role as the CEO of Keppel DC REIT here in Singapore, and that will start in July.
Yes, I think Anthea is moving into the CEO role at Fraser's, I believe. Yeah, but it seems like they've got the succession plan in place, and I think they're expecting and hoping for a smooth transition. The new date is the end of July, which Mr. Hui Long Lo will when he will step into the role. The Keppel DC REIT is obviously a pretty huge organization. So they've got 23 facilities across 9 countries, and that portfolio is kind of ever expanding. I think the value placed on those assets is close enough to 4 billion. I think it was 3.7 I saw as per the press release, or as per the news article we read. So yeah, big movement, but I don't expect there to be too much disruption. I think both, like obviously the Keppel inside out pretty well, and yeah, it should be fairly seamless.
Yeah, and this is on the REIT side of the business as opposed to the operating
Data centers, yeah,
part of the business. So hopefully won't cause any disruption for them, or the stock is up on the news. So I guess the market approves of press releases of any sort. The last one I want to look at, well, actually we've got 2, but just sticking on the senior appointments, and there's a bit of a flurry of news from Digital Realty, not really Asia related, but obviously Digital Realty are a huge player in Asia and around the world, so this does affect us. And they have raised $1.1 billion over the last couple of weeks through the sale of one of their data centers in Texas, as well as the sale of some of their shares. And they say that they're using this sum to pay down some of their debt and continue funding future expansion. So obviously with interest rates being where they are at the moment, it makes sense to try and minimize some of the company's debts to actually give more capital available for future investment. And off the back of that, I don't know whether that isn't related or whether it's just a busy week for them, but they also have appointed a new global chief revenue officer in Colin McLean.
Yeah. Well, big news coming out of Digital Realty, as you mentioned. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if there's any kind of significant trickle down effects to this part of the world.
I was actually looking, because there was a data center last year that they were trying to sell to their Singapore listed REIT as part of an internal reorganization. It fell through for some reason, but this is actually a different data center that they've sold to an outside investor as part of their portfolio. So, but just getting back to Singapore, I know you didn't have a chance to read this story in too much detail, James, but since people seem to hotly anticipate any update from Singapore's regulatory scene, the IMDA has launched a tropical data center sustainability standard. And the IMD is Singapore Infocomm Media Development Authority. So along with the Economic Development Board, the EDB, and the Energy Market Authority, they're probably one of the biggest regulating bodies for data centers in Singapore. And they have suggested operating facilities at higher temperatures to reduce the energy used in cooling. There are some other standards listed here, but it's a long document.
Yes, like I said, I have not had a chance to go through it. We'll go through it with the team. My first reaction when I saw IMDA is, they're finally announcing who has won the tender process for the potentially 3 plots for the moratorium capacity. But no, it's this tropical data center piece. I'll take a look next week. Just basic guidelines, I think, as P mentioned. We've got 15 seconds, Rhys. We got anything else?
Oh, no, I lost track of time. All right, well, in that case, happy Friday and have a safe flight back to Singapore, James.
Cheers, Rhys. Thanks.